like to say hello to all of those who will inevitably tune in or see it on the rerun. Um, the title is derived from a tweet from Trump this morning where he defended Gina Haspel, who is currently the CIA nominee, um, to replace Mike Pompeo. And it was really amusing to have a person who many of his defenders in this past presidential election will say if you voted for him over Hillary, it wasn't because of gender, it was over policy or substance. Well, the tweet, or at least a part of it that I made the title of the video, are effectively the reverse of that. They're him boasting about this person's gender and also touting their experience. But what I have to say is that what good is experience if what was performed during that experience was nothing but awful. Now, to give you a little bit of background, in the year following 9/11, Haspel became the head of this secret torture camp or little area in Thailand. And they were allowed to do little nefarious things. They were trying to coax information out of this Qaeda member, and they waterboarded him several times. And torture, by the way, also just to mention this, is not only against U.S. law but also international law. So she is legitimately a war criminal. Um, but for whatever reason, eventually became of knowledge. So knowing that she was implicated in performing these activities, she ordered for the destruction of the tapes that most likely contained her acting in this manner, authorizing it. And I guess what I find so aggravating is that I can recall a conversation I had last year during the whole net neutrality debacle, or when it was really heating up right before they voted to effectively repeal it, the FCC chairman. There was a Trump defender I used to talk to, and he said, "Oh well, the FCC director is messing up that law, but he should be gotten rid of, not Trump." And I explained to them, well, even if it's not Trump directly doing it, if the person is allowed to do it and he doesn't reprimand them or um, try to intervene or otherwise see the fault in nominating them, what's to say that he won't just put someone else there who's the exact way if for whatever reason the current chair is gotten rid of? And this is really the ongoing issue that I have with a number of Trump supporters. And it's this thing where anytime you say something negative about him, they just close their ears and don't want to hear it, no matter how well grounded it is. I will completely submit to you the fact that I have disdain for Obama, the Democrats. I'm on no one's side because they're doing much of the same on both sides. Now, this woman was, or Haspel rather, the CIA nominee that Trump has currently, allowed to come to prominence during the Bush years. And a lot of people try to say, well, Trump's not like other past presidents, but he's appointing people who directly either were involved or got their career kicked, jump started during previous administrations. Um, and in particular with one that had one of the most hawkish foreign policies prior to now. And there's a reason why people, even though I don't genuinely or generally try to do this, term various officials from the George W. years as war criminals because they violate laws that should threaten our national security and that only people at the top are able to get away with. As I said a couple of minutes ago, torture is supposedly banned in the U.S. and also internationally, which means that Haspel, the CIA nominee, our current CIA nominee, the acting CIA director, is a war criminal. There's no ifs, ands about it. But for whatever reason, this nomination is allowed to go on, and the only saving grace I can really give any of these corporatist politicians who I've wasted no time condemning for many of their other activities since being in office is that she is facing righteous opposition. The problem is there are still people such as the president himself who are going to tell you, look past the fact that she was involved in the torturous operations in Thailand, which included shoving people in coffins and waterboarding. No, just to ignore that because she's tough on security. For as disturbed as I am by the nomination, the part that bugs me the most is that it serves to sort of reinforce the idea that we really do not have. Yeah, Dirk, I'm glad someone's finally saying something. I was getting ready to cut it off because it was just me speaking. Um, the part that bothers me the most, and that line that is the title of this is from his tweet. So if you look up the tweet, that will be. I've done this thing in the past where I'll take the title of a tweet and then make it or some excerpt the title of the video or the stream at least rather. The thing that this mostly should confirm to you, not too versed. I'm just listening at the moment. Let me say hello to Zin, who I don't think I've ever seen before. I appreciate you for popping up. Um, but the thing that needs to be understood by anyone who checks this out, whether it's the one person sitting here with me right now or just someone in the interim or afterward, is that the U.S. does not care for human rights, and at least I'm talking about the members who are allowed to reign supreme at the head of its government. Because under Obama, you had the continued function of Guantanamo Bay, you had the drone strikes in these various parts of the Middle East. That was a Democrat who continued the Republicans' policy from right before the younger Bush, George W. did much of the same things. Trump is now doing these. I mean, it's really astounding that for as transparent as all the information I'm conveying to you right now is, a large number of people, whether you're watching, Fox News or MSNBC or any of these other news groups, that are playing for one side or the other, still think there's a difference between these parties. Of course, everyone is flawed, but Dirk, we're talking about this nomination, which is indisputably the worst one Trump has had, at least not outside of cabinet members. You say hello to Donahue. People just keep coming and going. Yeah, I realize the topic might be a little not desirable, but I really want to ask this: if you know that a person, what did you think of? We can go into that in a separate stream. My basic opinion of her is just a repeat of the same failed and standard conservative ideology, which I don't necessarily like to back and uh, support in most cases. But I wanted to at least say this: if you know that the person, and this is think about this from Trump's perspective, a person you nominated destroyed tapes of the various torture sessions of inmates at the facility they were leading, would you really believe this person won't repeat the same behavior if they are caught in something that is likely incriminating? Let me say hello to Saberwolf or CX, whichever one you would be referred to as. Ask yourself that if you were hiring someone for a job and they destroyed the tapes that incriminated them, which I mean, you wouldn't be incriminating any tapes if you didn't do anything that was incriminating. Wouldn't you be worried they would do the same thing again? Really, the only positive I can say about this pick is that at the very least, we know it's not financially motivated. She actually does have experience or at least background with the CIA. Well, yeah, Dirk, I agree with that, but it goes back to this idea that if you're at the top echelon of an agency or, have enough funding or just people who know you, you can get away with illegal acts. That's why they have these pardons for these top officials. They become so entrenched in just thinking they can get away with stuff that they do because their friends are in positions to grant them clemency and other types of ways of escaping being charged for wrongdoing. So it's just a continuous cycle. I really hope that one day we'll see a world where if a cabinet or just any nominee of a president turns out to be very, very awful, we can expect for people to hold the president accountable. Because I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of people who back Trump that if you ask them, do you support waterboarding? They would say no. If you ask them, do you support continuing, these wars that have killed tens of thousands of people, like the one in Afghanistan right now? They would say no. But they have this thing where because they find how the person who's at the head, or at least is the figurehead of this movement, they find them so appealing to just listen to. They don't think of those individual things that are going on, and it gets lost in limbo. Let me say hello to to James. I'll just, I don't know if I can call you James or Five Games, or whichever one you would be referred to as. Okay, O'Donohue is asking for me to send him my employment record, so I'll fax that to him in the morning. What do you think? I have no opinion of it right now. I need to do more research on it, and I'm gonna have to end the stream because I have to fax O'Donohue my employment record, or my occupation history. So let me go over to the copier. So I'll either have something out tonight or possibly I don't know what Dirk's expression right there means. I'm a little concerned. I want to make sure that I'm not disappointing him, or what that is supposed to imply. So maybe he can notify me. I'll wait. And I also, to anyone who watches this on the replay, I don't like the oh, I'm gonna have to. Don, he asked for it. Okay, and I'll answer these questions later. We can do a Q&A at some other point. I was trying to tell you about how awful this nominee was, but I see now that we're getting into other matters, and I don't mind that necessarily, but there always is that one person. How could you title the video this, but then start talking about something else? Gina Haspel, to answer Saberwolf. Yeah, she is. I mean that if that isn't a psychopath with power, I don't know what else is. And that is entirely based off of what has been done under her leadership. Is this nominee as bad as, I'm not entirely privy to Merkel's positions. So I'll put it to you like this. I would rather have O'Donohue, Saberwolf, AOU, Dirk, anyone else you can probably think of that's been in this stream or on a stream as my CIA director nominee as opposed to her. Because I think if you sat most of those people down and said, "Hey, are you in favor of torture? Do you like waterboarding? Do you like stuffing people in coffins?" Most likely they would say no. Okay, Dirk says, he's Trump, ran through so many members, it's not even a surprise that another is brought in with a tough pass. And tough is an understatement. Yeah, look, I can expect goofy picks from him when it comes to people he chooses for these positions. What I'm bothered by is that he has so many individuals who just write it off. He's not, in 10 years, no one's going to mention how he tried to get a war criminal to be his CIA director. And these are cabinet picks that just are not historically. We'll talk about something else later. Have a good day.